they're gonna slack. And they're gonna settle for less. Cause they happy with, if they get a, you know, when they first get their first world title, or they get $1 million, they happy with that. Or they get a few $1 million, they happy with that. They feel like that's everything. You gotta push yourself and tell yourself it ain't never enough.
Take notes. That's it.
Anthony Joshua, this man in the screen, this man that you see in the screen, will in fact lose his undefeated record before Deontay Wilder. He will lose his undefeated streak first than Deontay Wilder. And I'll let you guys know why. Because unlike Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua is actually taking risk and actually challenging himself at this early stage of his career, right? With about 20 professional fights now. So because he's challenging himself, it is riskier for him to actually lose before Deontay Wilder loses a professional fight. You know, a lot of people look at him and say, you know, did you see how Dillian White buckled Anthony Joshua? Did you see how Vladimir Klitschko dropped Anthony Joshua? Did you see how Carlos Takam was doing pretty, you know, he was losing the fight, but he was catching Anthony Joshua at times? What people need to understand is this is what happens at the top of the chrome of boxing. If you look at any of the top fighters, every top fighter at the top of the top and the creme of the creme, none of them completely dominate the fighters they're up against. None of them. When Andre Ward faced Sergey Kovalev, did he dominate Sergey Kovalev? No. That was a tough fight for Andre Ward. Sergey Kovalev was a top guy. Andre Ward was a top guy. When Terence Crawford fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, do you remember how Terence Crawford lost the first 3 rounds? You want to know why? Because Yuriorkis Gamboa was a gold medalist. You know what I'm saying? That's why he didn't just school Yuriorkis Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the history of boxing, when 2 top guys fight each other, it's normally a tough fight. It's normally a really tough fight. Unless you're like very skilled that you could just school the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather would school a lot of guys. But even Floyd Mayweather at times would struggle in fights. Like when he fought Marcos Maidana, that wasn't an easy fight for him. Even the Miguel Cotto fight, that wasn't an easy fight for him. You know? The point is, you know, when Kell Brook fought Errol Spence Jr., he lost. Why? That was a tough fight for Kell Brook. That wasn't no easy night's work. Sean Porter, when he fought Kell Brook, he was undefeated. He lost to Kell Brook. But that was a tough fight for both him and Kell Brook, right? Why? Because he stepped in there. He was challenging himself early in his career, Sean Porter. You know, he had like 25 fights, you know, when he fought Kell Brook. The point is, guys, I believe that someone like Anthony Joshua will lose first than Deontay Wilder. Not because of the lack of skill. It's because based on the fact that he's been challenging himself way sooner. So what's going to happen is eventually, because he's challenging himself way sooner, he's going to eventually lose. He's going to eventually lose first than Deontay Wilder. Just like when, what's his name? Erickson Lubin, when he was like 21 years old, and when he had like 15 professional fights, he fought Jamal Charlo and he got knocked out. Why? Because he was stepping up early. Stuff like this happens in boxing. And you want to know what's going to happen when Anthony Joshua loses? You're going to see a bunch of patheticness and sadness, because you're going to see a bunch of the guys that don't like Anthony Joshua make videos mocking Anthony Joshua, mocking him, making fun of him, saying, "I told you he was overrated," mocking him because he lost to a top fighter. That's how sad it's going to be. It's going to be so sad that they're going to be mocking Anthony Joshua for losing to a top fighter. Losing to a top fighter. When you should only be mocking someone if he lost to a guy that was a bum. But when it comes to people that don't like a fighter, they will literally mock a fighter for being beaten or stopped by a guy that, you know, was a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like me. If Deontay Wilder were to lose to a top guy, I wouldn't, troll him. I could troll him because, a lot of people don't think I don't like Wilder, so I could troll him and I'll be just, no one will complain about it because people think I'm a troll or something. So, yeah, but depending on how the outcome, let's say Wilder loses to a guy I never heard of, then I'll troll Wilder. I'll troll him because I'm like, man, he lost to a guy he cherry picked. But let's say he fought someone like a top guy. Let's say he fought Anthony Joshua. Let's say he loses to Anthony Joshua, but that's a really competitive fight. Do you think I'm going to make a video mocking him and saying, I told you he was overrated? No, I'm going to be like, man, he actually put up a pretty tough fight against Anthony Joshua. He was doing pretty well, So I wouldn't mock him. It's kind of like Carlos Takam. Did you see me mocking Carlos Takam for losing to Anthony Joshua? No, because he tried. I mean, he lost pretty much every round, but the point is he fucking tried. It wasn't his fault. He just didn't have the skill sets or he didn't have the size to really compete with Anthony Joshua because he's a very small guy. He's like 5'11". He's a short heavyweight. He just didn't have the size to really compete with him, but he was trying. So I didn't mock him, I don't really mock fighters who lose if they're trying. I only mock fighters if they lose and they don't try. Then I'll mock them, but I won't make fun of a fighter if he at least tries. So yeah,